Unasemaje? Kuna nini? I want a break. Are you going to have a baby? Yes.
Mark, what do you think you're doing?
Minding my own business because it has got nothing concerning you.
Do you still have an ounce of respect left for me?
What's up?
How often does Lauren show up here?
Relax.
Christina!
What do you want, Mark?
I am just about to open a whole can of worms. And you will not like one bit of it.
Is there anything that I should know?
Just turn around and go back to wherever you
Christine,
are.
I just want to talk. Calm down.
Gone? What are you doing in my compound? Sina pesa jamani, sina.
Leta pesa wewe.
Sina pesa jamani. Dema, jo. Kuna nini? I want a break. Are you going to have a baby? Yes.
My name is Sambros Lutulai and I'm all day for you.
One of Africa's most elusive cats, the leopards.
So many scientists, they are focusing in other animals. They are focusing in other cats. They are focusing in other, species, and they are forgetting leopard.
This is an area that the leopard clearly comes to. It's a natural salt lick. We've seen the leopard's footprints. We've also seen footprints of other animals, including baboons and impalas, and these are some of their favorite prey.
One mzee told me that there is a black leopard that is just found in your area. Few months, we got the black leopard in our camera traps.
We take it on at the right time.
Honorable Musalia Mudavadi.
The Honorable Mutahi Kagwe.
Chief Justice Martha Karambuko.
This is KBC, the voice of Kenya.
Asking the right questions.
I don't know how it made you feel as speaker who is presiding over a house where members can be compromised with 10,000 shillings.
We keep our guests comfortable. A mission to ensure our audience gets a complete story.
For a few hours or so, I thought this is it. My end has come.
If really we want an end of this pandemic, we must fight.
Our goal, to tell it as it is for the benefit of our viewer.
And I'm sure we will have good discussions.
All right.
That will make probably your viewers understand KDF better.
With 21 radio outlets.
During a live interview on KBC TV, Chief of Defense Forces General Robert Kibosha.
Jaji mkuu kwa mara ya kwanza katika mahojiano yake ya kipekee na runinga ya KBC Channel 1.
And 2 TV stations covering over 90% of the entire country. The message always gets home. KBC, the home of on-air TV interviews.
Development follows roads. Whenever a road is opened, the economic activities are always part.
Tumefurahia sana kwa president wetu juu ametutengenezea hii barabara. Hata mashamba yetu sasa itakuwa na value, na hiyo tumeshukuru sana.
Sisi ndio tuna build the country. The future is in our hands.
Yote haya kwenye KBC Channel 1 Ijumaa saa 2:30 usiku.
Good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. We trust you're having a lovely Thursday so far. Well, this is Lunchtime News, where we have a comprehensive bulletin lined up this afternoon. My name is Jacky, Wambiru, and to kick us off, a man and his wife have been sentenced to 20 years in jail by an Embu magistrate court for causing grievous harm to Class 3 pupil. Joseph Ireri Njeru and Bansi Wanja were found guilty of lying the child to a sofa and beating him with a dog chain.
In handing down the judgment, Embu Senior Resident Magistrate Juliana Ndengeri said it had been proven beyond reasonable doubt that the suspects were guilty for their crimes. According to the minor, the father tied him with a rope on a sofa set, beat him with a dog chain, and poured water on the sofa where he slept for 2 days before his younger siblings untied him. Court documents also indicate the minor had swollen arms, legs, and was oozing pus from the ears. He had also lost some nails.
Koti itawapewa kifungo cha miaka 20, 20 years imprisonment. Ule muda ambao umekaa ndani kutoka tarehe 8 mwezi wa 7 mpaka leo, hizo siku zitajumuishwa kwa kifungo chini.
Joseph Ireri Njeru and Bansi Wanja will spend 20 years each in jail for the crimes.
In other news, a fashion competition aimed at empowering the youth in the society through Build Kenya initiative has been launched in Nairobi County. The National Twende Kazi competition project intends to set a platform for interested participants to use Kenyan-made materials to design clothes towards the program. Rivertex Company will facilitate fabrics and cash for the competition's head start. 85 participants will win slots for the fashion competition through voting. The winner will pocket 300,000 shillings before the end of next year.
The other thing, take part and vote so that we're aiming at, first of all, addressing the issue of fashion and revamping the industry, and at the same time we're aiming for a promotion of local fabrics. All right, we know that we have mitumba and it's a good trade, and we don't want to say no mitumba, right, because it serves a huge population, but we also want to advance our own industries. I believe that this competition, if you're a tailor, if you're a designer, if you're employed or unemployed, this is your chance to get involved. So what we're asking for is post 3 photographs on our online link that you think were the best designs that you did. Answer all the questions.
Meanwhile, residents of Garissa have been urged to maintain peace during and after the general elections. Speaking during a training session for all sub-county peace leaders by the National Steering Committee on Peace Building and Conflict Management, Garissa Township Deputy County Commissioner Bernard Olekipuri asked the citizens not to allow themselves to be divided by politicians to cause violence.
As the country gears towards the election, there is a call to Kenyans to be vigilant and ensure they do not allow politicians to divide them along tribal lines. In Garissa, the message on peaceful coexistence reverberated.
Wacha watu wakuwe na uchaguzi wa amani bila matatizo yoyote. Kila mtu ako huru kuchagua yule mtu anataka kuchagua. Lakini politicians wasilete incitement, kwa sababu waki-incite mtu yoyote, of course sheria itachukua mkondo wake na watafunguliwa mashtaka.
Olekipuri said the sub-county security teams have identified hotspot areas and already know the main actors, promising that they will not allow anyone to incite people to cause mayhem during the electioneering period. Balambala sub-county peace chairman Hussein Hassan, however, regretted the Garissa-Isiolo border dispute that has so far left dozens dead and called for frequent joint peace meeting from both sides to find a lasting solution.
Na kuweka kila mkakati kuleta amani, lakini ningependa National Steering Committee iende chini kidogo, hata kama ni kukutanisha na favi huku chini, mambo yote isikushie hapa headquarter, mambo iende chini kidogo.
Issues of contention in this area remain: land disputes, scramble for pasture and water for livestock, wildlife, human conflicts and terrorism. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Stephanie Akiri.
The National Council of Churches of Kenya, together with local communities, have partnered with World Vision to protect the vulnerable children in the society. The program, which will run in 38 counties, will help cushion the children from the effects of COVID-19 and other vices.
The World Vision Kenya has entered into a memorandum of understanding with the National Council of Churches in partnership with local communities in the protection of vulnerable children in the society. The MOU, which will be implemented in 38 counties, is set to advance for the rights of vulnerable children in society, especially by furthering the well-being of those in hard-to-reach areas.
We want to see collaboration at the community, chiefs and religious leaders. Once the two institutions are collaborating, we then move to collaboration with other stakeholders. If that collaboration is very strong, then now we'll move to strengthening community institutions. We have Nyumba Kumi as an example, community policing, boards of management of schools, parents association.
The stakeholders noting that the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, alongside unhealthy relationships and environments, had exposed the vulnerability of children further, hence the need to act promptly.
COVID-19 has actually exacerbated the situation. We've had high teenage pregnancies when schools were closed. We are seeing cases of defilement of children on the rise. So this partnership is focusing on ensuring that the rights of children in this country are protected.
A multi-pronged approach instituted on the enhancement of economic support to families, provision of high-quality education and protection of children, capacity building for caregivers and parents, and enactment of child-friendly laws is a prerequisite for child protection.
They further took cognizance of emerging forms of child abuse such as gambling, gaming, and cyberbullying, and the need to act on them strategically. Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
Moving on, police in Mbeere South are looking for a man suspected to be a military officer and who has been trafficking drugs within the Kiritiri market in Mbeere South Sub-County of Embu County. Mbeere South Sub-County Police Commander Gregory Mutiso said police officers from the Kiritiri police station raided the suspect's house after a tip-off from the public where they found cannabis worth 500,000 shillings. Among other items recovered were 3 motorbikes, knives and papers meant to pack bang into stones for sale. Mutiso also said the suspect is out of court on bond as a court receipt of 20,000 cash bail was found.
Na natoa tahadhari kwa wale wengine wale wanauza bangi hapa sokoni ya Kiritiri. Tumepata habari ya kwamba wanauzia nyuma ya soko na tunawafuata, tunawakamata wote wapeleke kotini. Tumepata pikipiki 3 hapo ambazo tunadhani zinatumika kwa kusafirisha hii bangi. Ya kwanza ile ilikuja na bangi leo tuliipata ikiwa imesimama pale pale.
Still on matters politics, a section of politicians has challenged ODM leader Raila Odinga to declare his presidential candidature on the 10th, saying any further delays was not helping his political ambitions. Now, the group says the 2022 general election will be a contest of the margins, urging IEBC to conduct another round of enhanced voter registration exercise so as to ensure no one is locked out of the registration.
Expect Baba to announce his candidature on Friday at the Azimio La Umoja meeting. This is long overdue. The reason I'm saying so is because Baba has gone around the country. You have seen the enthusiasm that his supporters have given. He's gained traction, and I think it now makes sense for him to announce his candidature. He's visited all parts of the country. And it is clear that everywhere where he has visited, he has gained enthusiasm from his supporters. He has gained support from almost every part of the country. And I think it is not only in Mount Kenya, he is now already more popular than anybody else in any other part of the country. Next voter registration, let them involve all stakeholders. And let them make a concerted effort to involve all stakeholders so that we are able to address this issue and achieve the objectives that they had set for themselves.
Now, Friends School Kamusinga High School has benefited from a new digital system that has enabled students to do research with ease. The digital system will enable the students to do research on science subjects, which will make the school more competitive.
Friends School Kamusinga, being one of the top performing schools in the country over the years, has benefited from a new digital system that will enable students easy and fast research in their studies. Bungoma County Communication Technology Officer Collins Johnson said that the nation is making strides and moving to the digital era, adding that the government is continuously working to improve infrastructure to ensure Kenyan students are able to compete with their peers around the world.
At the sub-counties, we have the optic fiber moving across all the sub-counties, and this has brought a lot of impact in terms of digitization of records in government departments, also in terms of internal and external communication.
The school principal says that the internet has enabled research activities to be done with ease, noting that the computer department is now better facilitated and is able to accommodate more students to learn computer courses.
We want to appreciate the effort of the government to give us internet. We also have another computer lab where teachers are able to do ICT integration, and this has assisted us to be able to be current as far as issues of research are concerned.
The internet has helped us to expand more on our academic issues, like going to research.
Now, the elderly in Trans Nzoia County have filed a petition to the governor to ensure that monies owed to them through the cash transfer program is remitted. Led by 81-year-old Webukule Wasilwa, they have accused the gender office in the county for allegedly not dispersing the money to them for the last 9 years.
Majina naitwa Joseph Webukule Wasilwa. Katika kaunti hapa bwana haembe sisi tukupitia kodi. Na watu hapa ndani wamebloki sisi hawataki tukufikie. Kwa hivyo utujali sana huko chini chenda mfari nini uangalie hiyo mambo ya finance sisi hatujui vile naenda. Kwa hivyo aingilie kati na uangalie na kutujali.
A consortium of civil society organizations from the continent wants policymakers to promote the use of agroecological farming practices to deal with the adverse effects of climate change. The group, under the Alliance for Food Sovereignty in Africa in association with the African Union, is rooting for policies tailored at small-scale farming which are ecologically friendly.
Deforestation, use of harmful pesticides and application of chemical fertilizers have been cited as a major contributor of greenhouse emissions. Experts from over 20 civil society organizations involved in agricultural farming want a relook into how Africa has been undertaking her farming.
So can we start the process where the African civil society writes a policy or pushes the African Union and others to produce a policy which is based on the wish of the people?
The group, pointing at the current food policy in the continent, which it claims is centered around industrial agriculture, says it's harmful for the environment.
We are coming in as civil society from grassroots. We are engaging with the county government, county officials, and other human rights defenders, especially environmentalists, to push government, county government, to put integrate agroecology in our county policies so that we build resilience.
AFSA Chairman Chris Makolo says the continent should return to its roots and adopt safe farming techniques.
You have pest control policy, but some of these things don't talk to each other. We find that they are discordant. There's a lot of discordance in the policy formulation in our countries, Kenya included. They are good documents on paper, but they are not materialized, they are not actualized at the base where they are supposed to actually make a difference.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, my name is Ibak Said.
Elsewhere, community in Losuk, Samburu County has raised some 1.5 million shillings to be used to pay school fees for students in the area. Each community member was required to contribute between 500 shillings and 4,000 shillings for the cause.
Leaders in Samburu County say the region needs to nurture the next generation of professionals.
Tukasema tuchague kamati na tukaweka kila mtu rate ya ile pesa atatoa. Tukasema yule riga ambaye inaitwa Alkiroro, tukasema kila Alkuroroi, hata kama ako nyumbani, hata kama ameseka namna gani, a contribute shilingi 2,000. Bibi yake ana contribute shilingi 500.
Lesiampe said many learners are forced to stay at home due to lack of school fees.
Tumeanzisha mfuko wa masomo ambao tunaita kwa Kisamburu Libene Leng Soma. Hii ni kwamba sisi kama wazazi, vijana wetu ambao wanafanya biashara, wote pamoja na marafiki zetu wamekuja kutusaidia kuchanga pesa ili tupate kusaidia watoto wetu.
Communities living in the county have been urged to unite and ensure children from poor families are enrolled into schools. The education funds drive will be replicated throughout the county to ensure all students benefit from it. For Lunchtime News, I'm Alvin Kaunda.
Kitengela boda riders are crying foul over increased motorcycle theft, saying that in the last 1 year, more than 30 motorcycles have been reported stolen without a trace. This is a concern which has prompted riders to look for alternative means, including keeping watch overnight to protect their motorcycles.
There was drama in Kitengela town after tens of people thronged to see a mysterious incident where a motorcycle said to have been stolen last week resurfaced, only to be seen moving on its own before it parked along the road.
Niliona maajabu mengine yenye sijaiona. Pikipiki iko kwa uteo na iko juu, inapepea. Na hiyo ninakwambia ukweli. Sasa wewe kama unapiga, mimi ndio niliona. Pikipiki iko juu. Mimi kufikisha customer kurudi
The motorcycle owner is said to have been cornered by customers he was carrying, who along the way turned back on him and took away his motorcycle.
Aliambiwa na customer moja asimame. Lakini penye walikuwa ilikuwa ni giza na ni kichaka, akakataa kusimama. Alipokataa kusimama akaangushwa na customer na ilikuwa kwa maji. Venye aliangushwa akafunikwa na sweta kwa uso. Venye alifunikwa yeye akakaa chini akalose fahamu, akakaa chini kama dakika 20. Kurudi to normal senses akapata ana pikipiki.
Motorcycle riders in the area want security officers to up their game and protect them from theft, as it is destabilizing youth that are struggling to meet their daily needs.
Well, that report from Kitengela brings us to our first break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far. Up next is the business news.
Development follows roads. Whenever a road is opened, the economic activities are always part.
Tumefurahia sana kwa president wetu juu ametutengenezea hii barabara. Hata mashamba yetu sasa itakuwa na value, na hiyo tumeshukuru sana.
Sisi ndio tuna build hii country. The future is in our hands.
Yote haya kwenye KBC Channel 1 Ijumaa saa 2:30 usiku.
You're arrogant because you're rich. When you find yourself separated from your money, you'll learn.
We don't even know him. We were just curious. Please, go ahead. You'll let him stay here with you?
Look at him. What do you think I should do?
Do you know him? So what is this place? I'll say it one more time. I don't want to deal with you, so get lost!
Figure out how to win Jai Joy's heart and get him to kick Anting-Wan to the curb.
Why are you here? You betrayed me.
像故事建筑一座城堡，回放进去好久不再打。
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Welcome back. Now let's talk business. Washington has picked a long-time corporate America titan, Meg Whitman, as its ambassador to Kenya. The millionaire businesswoman come politician is now expected to be vetted by Senate. Whitman is expected to replace Robert Godek, whose term came to an end early this year. If approved, Whitman will be the top bureaucrat at the U.S. Embassy in Kenya, which is Africa's biggest mission.
She took a position with Bain & Company, where she rose to senior vice president.
A graduate of Princeton University, Margaret Cushing Whitman is a mega donor of the Democrat Party, where she donated $500,000 to the Biden Victory Fund in the 2020 U.S. elections. The 65-year-old native of New York City has worked for several major U.S. companies, including Procter & Gamble, Disney and Hasbro, before joining eBay in 1998, according to her profile. The technology executive is also a one-time Republican candidate for governor of California, where she spent a record $140 million on her campaign before losing to Democrat Jerry Brown. If approved, Whitman is expected to help jumpstart the U.S.-Kenya trade talks that have stalled for almost 2 years now. She is expected to drive the Biden agenda in the Horn of Africa, where several countries are engaged in internal military strife that threatens their economies. Whitman is also expected to drive Washington's agenda of neutralizing terror cells like Al-Shabaab and ISIS, as well as deepening America's counterterrorism agenda. Her nomination will need to be confirmed by the U.S. Senate, which is split 50-50 between Democrats and Republicans. Whitman has also had her own corporate failures, where her recent stint at video streaming service Quibi ended in failure, where the company closed its operations after 6 months of service.
Horticultural exports between January and November 2021 rose by 6% to 145.4 billion shillings. Directorate of Horticulture head Benjamin Tito says the volume of exports increased by 30% to 85 million kilos, attributed to increased demand for flowers and vegetables despite low average export prices.
During the period, the volume of flowers exported to destinations such as the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, Germany and Norway increased from 287.8 million kilos in 2020 to 373.78 million kilos in 2021, representing a 3.3% rise. This saw the value also increased from 136.7 billion shillings in 2020 to 145.44 billion shillings in the 11 months to November, representing a 2.1% rise. Directorate of Horticulture head Benjamin Tito said the demand for the Kenyan fruit, vegetables and flowers has pushed up the volumes by 30%, which helped to boost the earnings despite lower average export prices compared to those seen in 2020. The total volume and value of horticulture exports reached 313 million kilos with a value of 150 billion shillings. He says the demand for the fresh produce has started picking up after most of the export destinations relaxed COVID-19 pandemic protocols.
The horticulture sector has remained resilient over the last 1 year, and it is projected to remain so. However, part of the challenge in terms of exportation of immature fruits can be dealt with by self regulation.
The volumes of vegetables exported also increased from 34.38 million kilos in 2020 to 65.13 million kilos in 2021, and the value also increased from 13.9 billion shillings in 2020 to 23.78 billion shillings in 2021, with the United Kingdom, Holland and France still continuing to be leading export destinations. The volume of fruits exported, comprising of avocado, pineapple and mango, increased 99.5 million kilos in 2020 to 110.5 million kilos in 2021, representing an 11% rise as compared to the same period in 2020. However, the value dropped from 17.7 billion shillings to 17.57 billion shillings in 2021, representing a 1% decrease. The Directorate noted that harvesting and export of immature fruit has been high, hence the need to regulate closing and opening of the avocado season.
Harvesting and exports of immature avocado has negatively affected the image of the country in the overseas markets, and in addition to interfering with the cropping cycle of the trees, thereby reducing the projected volumes in the subsequent harvest.
He added the review to open the avocado exports will be done in January next year. During the period, avocado farmers earned 14.48 billion shillings compared to 14.41 billion shillings over a similar period last year.
The Coast Development Authority and National Environment Management Authority have rolled out seagrass, mangrove forest and coral reefs conservation in Wasini Island of Kwale County in efforts to boost fishing activities. Coast Development Authority Managing Director Dr. Mohammed Kainan is challenging communities at the coast to embrace seagrass farming in order to protect their main sources of livelihood, since depletion of the seagrass would affect the fishing, tourism and hospitality industries.
The marine conservation and restoration efforts for mitigating and adapting to climate change have gained momentum in Wasini Island, Kwale County, and will be extended to other coastal areas. The south coastal island of Wasini is one of the country's major fishing grounds and is home to a variety of sea creatures, which makes it a suitable pilot region for the seagrass restoration project. Seagrass meadows, coral reefs and mangrove forests were rapidly being depleted.
My name is Peter.
With the fishing island blamed on global warming, triggering the restoration process. Coast Development Authority Managing Director Dr. Mohammed Kainan says marine conservation efforts would be intensified to preserve marine biodiversity.
We're able to do some artificial coral nurseries, and in the process transplant coral reefs at areas where the coral were degraded. This was intended to regenerate the coral reef, thereby providing some good breeding ground for the fish, especially for the communities relying on the fishing livelihood.
Local fishermen are also being trained by conservationists on how to cultivate the underwater coral gardens to help harbor fish stocks and draw tourists to the famed island near the border with Tanzania.
Uharibifu umezidi na bahari ilikuwa imechafuka kupitia kwa community mapato yao. Baada ya muda tukafanya nao tena mambo ya seagrass ambayo pia imetuletea tija kubwa sana kwa upande wa Wasini Beach Management as a community.
Wakatupa ile uhamasisho na kutusomesha mambo ya seagrass. Kwa vile tuna elimu ya restoration ya coral, tukaona hii pia ni kitu kinawezekana. Na tukafundishwa namna kupanda hizo seagrass, na muda mfupi tu yale manufaa ambayo tumeyapata ni makubwa sana, ambayo sisi kama jamii tunajivunia sana.
The fishing community has welcomed the restoration efforts, noting that it has boosted fish stocks. Reporting for Lunchtime News, my name is Hibak Said.
And now in the interview segment, we shall be taking a look at innovation in security, where we're joined by Peter Ngari, who is an IT expert. Well, welcome, Mr. Ngari.
Thank you so much.
Yes, maybe to kick us off, help us understand more about the sector. Maybe you tell us what are some of the security challenges that are witnessed in your sector?
My name is Peter, as you have heard. I'm a technical IT expert and a director in Secure Digital Limited. We also have a product called Secure Magazine that talks about security information in the country and beyond. The challenges that we are facing in security at large is the essence of, for example, the issues like COVID issues that have come along, and we have seen things which have brought in terms of technology to bring out to see how well we can curb the issue of this issue of COVID-19 as an example. The other challenge is technology keep on changing here and there, and you find as a human being it has been difficult to embrace the trending changes of technology. So we as an expert, we are pushing and seeing how people may be able to embrace this technology. Thank you.
Maybe to help us understand more how you're pushing people to understand these challenges, also how to deal with them, maybe how is your firm or maybe how are private security service providers like yourself responding or helping organizations or businesses cope with these challenges?
Thank you so much. For us, we have partnered with international companies who have been very instrumental in the issue of building the capacity to be able to give us products which are efficient and which are very workable in terms of the challenges that we are facing in terms of security. And we have a line that we work with very closely. It's called Hikvision. Hikvision is a world-leading security surveillance solution company, and it has been very instrumental in providing trading products which are very efficient in terms of giving solution of challenges that we are facing. For example, like the one I have mentioned of COVID, they have come up with the products we call thermal screening product, and they go all the way from walk-through metal detectors which have thermal, they can give you temperature. We have devices that are access control and they can give you temperature, and they also give you, we have the cameras themselves that has the essence of giving you the temperature screening ability, and you're able to have data and you can be able to go beyond, and we have things we call deep in mind that can give you to give analysis of the artificial intelligence technology. So with this, we are able to move forward. And to answer your question of the second part, what are we doing? We are doing, number one, to educate the public, especially those who do the integration. We do provide training. Like today, we have several companies that we have gathered them in one platform that we do training and on how to use the equipment and how to sell the equipment. So on weekly basis, we have a day that we have set aside that we do training, and we partner with the manufacturers to be able to train and give information on how to use the equipment. Thank you.
Like you mentioned earlier on, most companies have also shown willingness to reorganize their security by integrating advanced technology. You've mentioned thermal screening products. At the same time, you've mentioned adoption of AI technology, among others. Maybe this is to enhance accuracy, privacy, among other issues. How has the adoption of advanced technology, such as the use of access controls, fingerprints, and face recognition help shape the face of security in the country?
Thank you so much. Because of the challenges that we have faced, and years back it was difficult to embrace, but because of the challenges that we have faced, that is threat, terror, issues of theft, issues of like COVID, it has So it has forced us to embrace these issues of getting the equipment in place. Right now, it's not like years back, whereby you would build a house and don't do CCTV. You finish your office and don't do access control. It has become a necessity that when you finish doing all that, it is paramount and very important that to make sure that you are put in place security doors to enable you to deter and reduce the essence of threats that may come our way. So it has become easy and very important that people are embracing, and they are seeing it, the need to make sure that they get this equipment for their premise, for their offices, and even for the government. You see everywhere the government they have insisted there must be something in regard to security.
In terms of innovation, maybe help us understand how innovation comes in when it comes to security.
In terms of innovation, number one, we need to understand that people who develop products, they are also in business. They are also doing what we call strategic planning. They are also an organization that needs to grow and become relevant in the market. So with that knowledge, we're able to see people thinking beyond the norm, people going beyond what they can be able to see. So they're able to move fast, and they're able to think beyond what we have now, and they can be able to see the future, what it holds, and then they are aggressive, and because they are in the competition world, they're able to see how they can be at the top as they provide solution to give to the market that are irrelevant, and they are able to assist in terms of security. So in terms of bringing innovation, it is a concept that is there, and it's embraced by the manufacturers, so as they may be able to see how they can reduce and deter threats that come along the way. In different regions, we have different solutions that are provided. You find in Europe, there are those products that are given for Europe. We have Africa, we have those products that are specifically provided for Africa. Let me give an example. Like COVID-19, nobody knew that a technology in regard to security, like cameras, would be able to be produced to give temperature screening and ability to see the behavior of the nature of your body. But right now, because of the issue that came along, that we are able to see people thinking beyond that, and they are able to produce the products that can be able to give the solution in that angle. Thank you.
Well, moving on, maybe cyber attacks are rampant worldwide. How can consumers be assured that there is data security, how their data is safeguarded? Maybe help us understand more of this.
In regard to data security, we have equipment which are much advanced, and we as IT expert, what we do, we create an avenue that we put things we call firewalls, that and you can do multiple firewalls, whereby you are able to, when one aspect of cracking that first firewall is noticed, it's able to lock, and also it is able to alert the individual who have built that firewall. The other thing is, when we have security in cyber security, people must be strictly in terms of numerous people. You must put the trusted minimum people, so as they may be able to have a follow-up, and you know that this person is the one that I am able to question, to ask. The other thing is put security measures in terms of accessibility, where you have put your servers, you're able to put things that are able to prevent and control accessibility to us, to those equipment that are there. And then you put measures that are able to give what we call backup solutions. So as when it is accessed, you're able to have a solution to get back to, and it cannot provide any risk towards the market.
Maybe help us understand how companies can plan to invest in security solutions so as to show up revenues come next year.
Thank you. Number one is in terms of budgeting is the issue of inviting an expert, inviting people who understand about the equipment in security, to have an audit of your premise, to have an audit of your organization, see the growth. Let the person understand your strategic plan for the next 5 years, your strategic plan for the next 3 years, and then you can be able to be given analysis in regard to what you require in terms of security. Then you put in place and you prioritize. You prioritize and see, what do I require to start with? What do I need in terms of my current state? Then you do in phases, because sometimes security and budget, you find there is a constraint in terms of those two. So you're able to prioritize and know that this is what I need for this year. Then I can do in phases. I require alarm system as first priority. I require CCTV, which I will do in 10 phases. I do phase 1 in the crucial areas. I do phase 8. I do phase 20 in different months, in different years, so as then you can be able to grow and have efficiency. People, many organizations, they rush and do something that is substandard. After 2 years, they phase it out. After 3 years, they phase it out. Then it becomes a loss, and they keep on mark timing round and round. So for us, as an organization, it's very good to strategize, plan, and have a consultant who can advise you, produce something small which is manageable, and you can be able to see your security and growth. So as even when it comes new technology, you're able to embrace that new technology with the existing system.
Yeah, maybe in your final remarks also help us understand what measures are you putting in place in your post-COVID recovery plans? In our plans is we are bringing out new products that will able to give us more results and more emphasis in how to prevent and how to protect, and how also to be able to get more analysis. And on Saturday we are having an international end of year summit for Hikvision with our partners within Kenya, and we'll be able to be speaking in regard to the technology that we expect in the next 5 years. We'll also be speaking about the innovation that have been there, and the benefits and the issues of our products. You find like people think about CCTV and they think CCTV is just a camera to view movement. But you find no, you have one camera that can give you more results that are always underutilized. So with this summit, you're able to give more knowledge in terms of technology. You're able to give knowledge in terms of the future, and you're also able to give awards for our customers, which we have been working with. Thank you very much. Well, that was Peter Ngari, who is an IT security expert. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us this afternoon. That was an informative conversation. Now we move on. The central bank has approved the liquidation of Imperial Bank Limited that has been under receivership since 2015, citing a weak financial position. This will pave a way for the sale of the lender's assets to paying any existing debts to depositors, creditors, and the wider public interest.
2015, the central bank placed Imperial Bank Limited under receivership after fraudulent claims came to light. In the same year, CBK appointed the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation, KDIC, as the receiver manager for Imperial Bank Limited to protect the interest of the bank's depositors, creditors, and members of the public. In June 2020, KCB took over some of the bank's assets valued at 3.2 billion shillings and assumed liabilities of the same value. The money raised, which was 37.3% of the total deposits, was to be paid to Imperial Bank Limited in receivership depositors over a period of 4 years. So far, 45,700 out of the 50,000 depositors have accessed their funds in full. About 4,300 depositors are yet to access their money, according to Central Bank of Kenya. In September 2020, following the acquisition of certain assets and assumption of liabilities by KCB, CBK required KDIC to appoint an independent external auditor to carry out a comprehensive audit of the bank. The following month, the external auditor submitted the audit report to CBK, noting a number of gaps in the report, some of which have been subsequently resolved. And early this month, KDIC submitted the receivership report to CBK, recommending that the bank be liquidated. And today, the Central Bank of Kenya has approved the liquidation of Imperial Bank Limited in receivership, which means its assets will be sold off to pay any existing debts owed to depositors, creditors, and the wider public interest. Central Bank Governor says KDIC will release more information on the liquidation and payment in due course. Caroline Jenga for Lunchtime News.
And now in the sports arena, 5-time European champions Barcelona were denied a spot in the knockout stages